We all understand the type of climate that we're dealing with. We're dealing with multiple offer situations.
I'd love to know sort of what's your why? What makes you tick? Why are you so successful?
Have a dialogue with your lawyer. Have a dialogue with your agent.
Both sort of passionate about sort of what we do.
Again, vet your agent to make sure that they're experienced and they're local. I like that idea.
No excuse to miss it on Saturdays from 8 to 9.
That's right.
WBZ.
And now, the show that gives you the latest and most relevant housing market news. Real Estate Radio Boston with financial expert Rick Shearer and legal professional Ali Alavi.
How are you finding the marketplace? I mean, obviously we came off a fairly significantly busy summer, spring,
yes,
and we're getting ready for fall. What's your take on the market now?
Well, what's happened? Obviously, we all lived through the most horrendous winter that ever was, and so there was 2 months of what I call pent-up demand being created, and I think we've been a recipient of that very much.
Sure.
As well as a hot market. Our spring market didn't start until very late, so it went right through to August. And,
right.
And I know the agents, and I can appreciate they're all exhausted because it's just, there's never been a break.
Does the current climate as we are seeing it, as we're experiencing it, does that make you nervous?
Somewhat. The volatility of the market presently, the world is so small now. It's an international market, obviously, so China blinks and we cough.
Exactly.
That's kind of what happened. So it's a different world than it was. 89's change was very, very painful, as you recall.
Absolutely.
I mean, people went upside down. 08 was equally as painful because everything was paper. I think the difference, though, is that there's a lot more, a better base. There's more money. The banks, thankfully, are making it harder to get loans, so people aren't getting loans on paper. They're getting loans with real money and with real equity. So I think we're good that way, but the international markets are a little bit scary right now because of the way they're operating, and they affect, obviously, us. But we see 1,000 point up, we see 500 down, and today we're up a little bit, so I guess we just ride.
You've predicted, before East Boston was getting crazy. East Boston's now crazy. I think a lot of people are listening to the show, and that's probably why it's happening.
Yeah,
Somerville. What's the next hot spot?
Well, the Green Line impact right now. I was predicting Medford, and I still feel like Medford. Any market that is going to be impacted by the Green Line is going to be very well in a very good place. And I just saw that we're headed for the overruns in terms of money and this conversation.
Right.
But I don't think anyone's going to abandon the Green Line. They're going to figure that out.
Right.
And as they figure that out, I think Medford's going to be the beneficiary of that now, moving out into the marketplace.
All right.
Tell us a little bit about this specialty that you have for being on site for developers and condo projects. There's a lot of developers out there always looking for real agents that specialize in what they do.
Yeah, that seems unique, actually.
It is. It's a different animal than the usual conventional sales agent would do. The good thing about having a dedicated person on site sales and marketing is when we assign somebody to a project, they're not allowed to list and sell outside of that project.
Right.
So literally they have to really overcome every single objection that a buyer might have because they're not able to say, oh, you don't like this? Okay, well, I'll take you down the street to another listing.
Right.
So it really works well for the developers.
What would be the single most important advice that you would give a potential seller?
Listen to your real estate agent when they tell you the price.
I love it.
And let's go back to the listening to your real estate agent. And we talk about this a lot on the show. I mean, the barrier to entry for the real estate community is on the low side. I think you can agree. You got to take a class, you got to take an exam.
40 hours of classroom.
And that's it. And so, what we see in our practice is we see two types of real estate agents. We see the part-time person that maybe, work here for 6 months, go down to Florida for 6 months, and you don't have that expertise. Maybe the person just starting out. And you have the people like yourselves who are expert at what they do. You're an expert negotiator. You're an expert holding their hand through the process. I mean, we'll talk about your team in a minute, but you've created, you've been doing this for a very long time. Mm-hmm. So, listen to your real estate agent as long as your real estate agent knows what they're talking about.
Right.
If you come across a real estate agent that doesn't, give us a call or give you guys a call and try to find someone, because I think it's so important to listen to your real estate agent as long as you're getting really good information.
I agree. I mean, I specialize in listing and pricing properties, and my rate has been 103% consecutive for the past 18 months.
Wow.
The other people on my team specialize in different things that I don't like to do or don't have time to do.
Right.
We all have our different parts.
Sure.
Our team works a little bit differently than most real estate teams.
Yeah.
We're pretty much all involved in every transaction.
Fall market's upon us. I know we're running out of time, but what would be a couple of nuggets that you can give and share with the listeners as far as how you can get your house in order?
Definitely, obviously, declutter.
Yeah.
Staging is big. You know, we have a stager that stages all of our properties. We offer that as a service to our sellers. Some of them are open to it, some don't like it, but definitely declutter,
Clean.
That goes without saying, and curb appeal. You know, clean up the yard, make the outside look nice. And
I love it.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, like Ollie said, grown up in real estate, essentially. My parents have been in it for a long, long time. Started actually working at RE/MAX at my mom's office and kind of went from there. Worked at an attorney's office. I've worked at a title company and been in the mortgage business since 2002.
Wow.
So kind of in and around the whole real estate.
So you get it all. I mean, you've been involved
Yep.
in all facets, all aspects.
Yeah, and I think one of the important pieces to this is the fact that setting expectations.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes, it's important so that the client knows what steps to come, and we're very upfront with clients about that. That we get the initial set, but once it comes through underwriting, there's always additional requests, and I think that's where they get held up. You might need page 2 of a bank statement that doesn't have anything on it, and they think their loan is being denied because of it. So there's that emotional part of it too.
Talk a little bit about what we're gearing up to do when this TRID comes into play on October 3rd.
Well, for the listeners, I just want to put it in perspective. The listeners that are not in the industry, we just want to let you know, TRID stands for Truth in Lending RESPA. Integrated disclosure. And it is going to impact the timing of everything, and it is an entirely new act that's going to change our industry. So there's going to be, we have to educate the listeners more on what it is and how it's going to impact them individually. But you're right. How are you preparing for that?
Well, we had even talked about it. We're kind of taking a dry run with it in September with all of our timelines and deals so that we can kind of have that prep ready for the October 3rd, go live date. Again, because of our aggressive turn times with everything and setting the expectations up front, we just have to, kind of back things up a little bit, make sure that we get our clear to closes out. And, again, our closing department is, you've worked with them all the time. You know how fast they are and amazing they all are. I feel that we're very prepared for, I think MSA probably more than anyone is
that's
very
music.
prepared
That's music
for
to my ears.